So President Trump has unleashed complete chaos on global financial markets over the past week with these insane tariffs he released in early April. I could give you a recap of what has happened over the past 10 days, but given the amount of flip-flopping from the Trump administration, it would probably be out of date by the time it came out. Instead, what I'm going to give you is 3 big moves in markets over the past week that could impact the way you think about investing in future. Number 1, a weaker US dollar. The US dollar has declined sharply over the past 10 days after news of these tariffs came out. Other global currencies have strengthened considerably against the greenback. In Singapore, for example, the US dollar is now below the 132 level. That's strange because in times of uncertainty, the US dollar typically strengthens against other currencies as it's seen as a safe haven asset. So what explains this fall? Well, it's probably investors selling off US dollar assets and repatriating that money back to Europe and Asia. Number 2, higher bond yields. In the US, the yield on 10-year treasuries has spiked over 50 basis points in the past 10 days, a massive move for a market as big as that. Remember that when bond prices go down, yields go up. So why have yields on this traditionally safe haven asset actually spiked? Well, it's basically down to unreliability of the US and its policy. Remember, a lot of foreign countries own US treasuries, and this can impact how they view holding US debt. Indeed, when President Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs, he put this down to markets getting nippy, and he was referring to the bond market when he said this. Finally, number 3, gold and Bitcoin prices. Now, these two assets have actually done relatively well over the past 10 days amid all this tariff upheaval. First off, with gold, it actually hit a record high of over $3,200 per troy ounce, and over the past 8 trading days to the end of last week, it's up 3.4%. So how about Bitcoin? Well, remarkably, for an asset as volatile as Bitcoin, it's been relatively stable over the past 10 days. And since the announcement of tariffs, it's only down 3.5% up until the end of last week. Now, both those actually compare favorably to the S&P 500 index, which is actually down over 5.4% since the announcements of the tariffs. What explains the moves in those two assets? Well, basically, investors have lost a lot of trust in the reliability of the US government as it relates to both the US dollar and US bonds. So people are probably thinking about buying and allocating more to both gold and Bitcoin. So there you have it, 3 big moves in global financial markets that investors should be aware of since the initiation of these idiotic tariffs by President Trump. For more personal finance and investing tips, do give me a follow here or subscribe to my free weekly newsletter at timtalksmoney.com.